Everyone's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. So I'm here to present players that are highly owned that I've never had in my current SuperCoach team. Now, this isn't to say that I think that I'll never own these players at some point. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge between now and round one, Richmond versus Carlton. So I'm just going to go over the players that I personally haven't had in my team. I'm pretty sure JD did this similar sort of video last year, so I'll give him credit for the video idea here. So I just thought I'd go over mine, players that I just haven't had in my current SuperCoach team. We're going to go with players over 10%, 10% and over. Well done to Taylor Swift on winning the Super Bowl today as well, even though I don't give a rat's toss bag about the NFL. I watched it for the last 10 minutes today. All right, so the first player I haven't had in my SuperCoach team is Kitty Coleman just yet. Now, I don't see myself changing my idea with this because that round two bye, of course, is part of a reason. Also, I think there's a lot more footy to go around still in that Brisbane team. You've got blokes like McKenna, Darcy Wilmot. I know Kitty Coleman fired up in the AFL final series, but I don't know. I just haven't fully had the appeal for Kadeem Coleman. Bad injury history. So I don't see this changing with my stance on him, to be honest. Jack Sinclair, to be fair, I think he's perfectly fine at his price, but I think he's slowly moving into the midfield a little bit more, which I think is fine for St Kilda. I think St Kilda could really use a guy like Jack Sinclair in the midfield, but it's I feel like he's a lot better as a defender. So that's my stance on him. I'd rather see how this plays out with Sinclair in the midfield. Now he could absolutely dominate, but I think I saw something on Twitter where he dropped 5 to 10 points more while playing in the midfield. So could this change? This could if I'm not feeling Sicily or Stewart or whatever. Then I could go down the Sinclair route. Let's go with Harry Sheasel from North Melbourne. The role's a bit too skewy for me. Like, just there's no guarantee that he's playing off halfback. There's talk that he could also be the wing. I've saw that he's actually dropped weight. So that would surprise me if he moved on to the inside. There could be a chance he's playing on the wing, half forward, half back. Feels like they're going to play him in a mixture of roles this year. So I feel like in his first season, they sort of baby fed him off half back just to get him used to the AFL system. And now they'll be a little bit more experimental with him. So do I see myself change? This could change. Sinclair could change. I don't see myself changing my idea on Coleman. So there we go. Those are the three defenders, high ownership that I haven't had in my team. But I got one ruck here, and that's Tim English. We'll get to Luke Jackson later. I just don't feel comfortable paying this much money for a ruckman when we've got blokes with value like Max Gawn and Brody Grundy. And then you've also got Rowan Marshall, who I do think is quite a dark horse as a SuperCoach pick. And also as well, I think Rory Lobb's going to give him a little bit of a chop out in the ruck and might be more of a 2-ruck system this year with Tim English. So just to give him a little bit more rest, which I can understand. They absolutely battered Tim English to the ground last season, the Western Bulldogs. So I can totally understand that. So yeah, I don't see myself changing on this. I think I'll happily just let this play out and see how he goes as a ruck and also a little bit of time forward. Got a fair few in the forward line here, so we've got Zane Dursman to start things off. I put a tweet out saying I can't believe these 44% owned, and to be honest, I just don't believe it. I'll happily bet against Zane Dursman. I bet against Matthias Philippou, but I'm pretty sure he only made about 80K. This sounds like a very similar role with Zane Dursman. If he gets to 300K, I think that's a win for owners. I just don't, unless the forward line rookies are just so bare, then I think I'll pick Dursman in that scenario. but I don't see myself picking Zane Dersma. I think 300k, if he gets to 300k, that's a very good result. Due to this half forward role, which I just, especially in a bottom two side where the ball's not going down there too much, not the best service. It just doesn't present good. There might be a couple of solid scores here and there, but there will be scores as well where he delivers pretty averagely. So I'll happily bet against that. I'll eat my hat if I'm wrong, but I just don't see this turning out to be a good pick unless the role is clarified to be different or whatever. I could see I could see more people going down this route though. Another similar popular rookie I've got here is Nick Watson. Again, I mean, this one you could even say is worse. I mean, Hawthorn are a bit better of a side than North Melbourne, but it's small forward. Hawthorn have a lot of small forwards as well, so it might not even be a guarantee that Nick Watson gets a game. Could be the sub, that sort of thing. Could be a sub threat. Small forward in a bottom six side, very likely. I just don't get it. He's another one. If he gets to 300k, that is a massive result for owners. So look, I'd rather, with these two blokes, I'd rather drop down to 70 grand more, get a bargain basement rookie if we get a couple, and just go from there and save myself, all up like 140 grand or whatnot. So yeah, I just think that's an easy way to save money. Drop down Watson and Dersma to bargain basement rookies. Yeah, not a fan of them. Sam Darcy, like I think I prefer Sam Darcy to these two, to be honest. But it's more the fact that it doesn't sound like Sam Darcy is kind of close to being best 23 from what I've heard. Sounds like he hasn't fully gotten to that next level in training. You've got blokes like Rory Lobb, Aaron Norton, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, of course, all these blokes ahead of Sam Darcy. He's going to have to take a couple of injuries to get him in the side. I do think he's actually going to be a very good player, but I think there's still plenty of time for him to develop. I just don't think it'll be this year. It just seems a little bit. No, he just doesn't seem close to being that first team at the minute to training reports. Luke Jackson here. With Sean Darcy in the side, I just don't like picking him. Like he's averaged 86 with Darcy in the side. If he becomes full-time ruck, if Darcy gets injured or whatnot, then we unleash on Luke Jackson as a pick. But for now, Sean Darcy is healthy and ready to go. So Luke Jackson as a tall forward just I don't really like the idea of it. I know he has the good buy, but I'm just not feeling it. So I'm not going with Luke Jackson for now. Do I see this? Do I see English changing? Sorry, I should have mentioned this. Do I see my stance on English changing? Probably not, unless there's a couple of injuries that come by. Zane Dersma and Nick Watson, I don't see my stance changing on them. Sam Darcy, if he gets a game, then maybe. Luke Jackson, unless Darcy gets injured here. Nate Caddy, what is he, about 40 grand more than Sam Darcy? I'd pick Sam Darcy if he got picked over Caddy. First year, key medium forward. It's just not going to result to a massive amount of cash gen. Now, he could have a couple of really good games. Key forwards can have that, but they are a pain in the ass to own. They could either score 20 or 30 or deliver you a 70 or an 80. There's just a lot of inconsistency when it comes to first year. That comes with key forwards, especially to a first year player. So, no, once again, I don't see myself changing my status. I do prefer a bloke who's in his in his second preseason in the AFL system is Aaron Cadman. That's also 40k cheaper. I think he has a chance to. He looks a lot fitter, a lot stronger. So I think he could get a game for the Giants. And I do prefer him as a pick to Caddy and obviously, and of course, Dersma and Watson. I haven't currently got him in my team. I could see this changing if there's a lack of other rookies with good roles. But Cadman, I think, is fine. Taylor Adams, I think he's 14% owned. Yep. So I think he's got a good role. I think the early buy is putting a lot of people off. It wouldn't surprise me if he delivered like a 110 against Melbourne and people started jumping on him. I just think he's a bit too injury prone. I think he certainly could take that Callum Mills role. If there wasn't any round zero buys, I honestly wouldn't mind taking a punt on him. But with that round zero buy, makes it a bit hard, especially with Grundy and Dacos in my team. So that just makes things quite a bit harder. And last one's Toby Green, just not really a super coach pick in my book. I mean, he averaged 91 last year, so maybe he could actually be a keeper for us this season, but the inconsistencies there. He's a year older, high half forward, results in inconsistent scoring as well. So that's my stance on Toby Green. All right, we finally move into the midfield. My first player here is going to be Jai Clark. My stance on Toby Green won't change. My stance on Taylor Adams may change, 50-50. Jai Clark, this could definitely change, but I just haven't heard enough about Jai Clark to go, because Geelong's hard to get information out of. And I'm not hearing too much about Jai Clark. I feel like a lot of people are picking him just because a lot of other people are picking him. So Jai Clark, I need to hear more information on this bloke because I just can't. I've barely heard much. I mean, let me know in the comments down below to Absolute Legends if you guys have heard anything about Jai Clark this preseason, because I can't find a slither. I mean, I don't think he's injured because I felt like we would have heard that by now. All right, let's go to the big dog, Bontempelli. Now, I obviously love Bontempelli. I truly do love him. I just can't justify paying 724,000 for a player. Now, could this change? It could. If I'm not feeling many of the other SuperCoach picks, I could go Bontempelli. Doesn't have the early buy. But I just think these days, especially now with 40 trades, it is all about value nowadays, where you want to be picking players that can go better than their current price or what they're priced to average. And Bontempelli, this is really the absolute peak of his powers to what he can get to as a player. In my book, it's very rare for players to go higher than this price. I mean, you can get to 750, but to maintain it, I just don't think that's the case. I think we can grab him at 650K. I know that's, you probably have to use a boost if you're not starting to get him in. Just not really my kind of pick. I'm going to go there just for this season. I did pride myself on not picking any of the higher price players above 650K-ish. So, no, I don't think I'm going to go there with Bontempelli. Hopefully I'll get him at some point during the year. The next one is going to be Errol Goulden. I think with that wing role, a little bit of inside midfield time, I think it's one of those roles to where we can definitely get him at a cheaper price than this. 622,000. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Errol Goulden. I feel like I'm saying that about a lot of these players, but I really do like Errol Goulden, one of my favorite players in the comp. But that role can certainly make him 100K cheaper pretty quickly, because he can deliver some pretty bad scores. He can deliver some absolute belting scores, but he can get cheaper than this. In my book, he could. I feel like there's a Zach Merritt about him where he can get down to about 100K from here, and he can certainly be a cheap upgrade. But yeah, just not for me. Do I see myself changing on this? No, probably not. I don't. Once again, Sydney and Collingwood players premiums I'm trying to avoid because they'll really stuff up my round 5 buy. I've already got Grundy and Dacos, and that stuffs me up enough. So I probably won't change my stand on this. I think I can get him at a cheaper price than this. We're going to go with Tuke Miller. I'm just not sure if there's any guarantee that he's going to go back to his absolute best. He's certainly value, but it's just more whether can he get back to that. Is he going to take one for the team sort of role? Is he going to overtake Rowell and Anderson already again and do that sort of stuff? I think their main priority is going to be Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell, and Tuke Miller's obviously is going to be like the odd man out when it comes to the stardom of the Gold Coast Suns midfield. Now, I could be very wrong. I love Tuke Miller. Again, I love a certain player, but I really do. But Nah, just not feeling it. Just not feeling it. This could certainly backfire on me. He could certainly turn out to be a really good pick, but I'm just not going quite there yet. And also, he's got the round 3 bye, so that also doesn't help. Christian Petrarca. This one's tempting. I can't lie. Like I could see myself changing on this and be picking him, but what's he got the round? He's got the round 6 bye, so that is somewhat interesting. But not yet. This could change. I could change my mind here, but just not quite yet. Because there's certainly a lot of good cases you could make for Petrarca. I think he's one of those rare blokes in the competition that would be really hard to tag. Really good runner, explosive, powerful. So I really do rate Christian Petrarca, but that I guess the early buy, but yeah, I don't know. I could certainly change myself on that, but I don't really want more round 0 opening round premiums, to be honest. But we're gonna go with Jordan Dawson. I think the influence of Matt Crouch will affect Jordan Dawson a fair bit, so do keep an eye on that. I think that certainly could affect him. I think he got a lot less touches when Matt Crouch got entered into the team. Could he move back off halfback? I don't think so. I think Adelaide's midfield's would be too one-dimensional if they got Dawson out of the midfield. So nah, just think a bloke I can get for cheaper as well. Just a few more guys. How many more? 3 more. Caleb Sarong. So I just prefer Andy Brayshaw. I do think there's more avenues to how he can score as a player compared to Sarong, and I do think Sarong's easier to tag. So I think teams will have a bit of a stoppage tag on Caleb Sarong. So I do see that with Sarong. I just think Brayshaw, there's more avenues for him to score on the inside and the outside, more damaging as a player, I feel. I'm not going to disagree with anyone going Caleb Sarong. It's just I prefer Brayshaw. So I'll stick to my guns there and go Brayshaw if I had to pick a Freo premium. I don't see myself changing my stance on Dawson. I could easily be swayed with Petrarca. If Brayshaw is injured, I'll go Sarong. That's really about it. Rory Laird, another year older, which is a concern. Once again, I think there's a little bit of PTSD with me starting him at 700k last season. And I just think he's a bloke. He could be like the Lachie Neale of last season, where we could get him at a cheaper price. When you see the impact that Matt Crouch has with him, I think Rory Laird did say at some point during the preseason that he's working more on an outside game now with Crouch in the midfield. So that is a little bit of a red flag as well. Lastly, we're going to go Josh Sin. I mean, he's just a rookie. Apparently, he's playing off halfback in the first potentially, so maybe someone we could have a look at. But there's still a lot more information that needs to be heard between now and round 1. So I'm not jumping all over him just yet, Josh Sin. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you keep your eye out at 9:30 tomorrow night. Yeah, me and Brad will release a special announcement, so make sure you keep your eyes tuned on that by then. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and have a good night, guys. See ya.